experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Wartime.
We up? King of Miami, what's up?
What's up, my brother?
Good to see you, man.
Always a fucking pleasure.
Always a pleasure to see you too, man. Bro, I've been a fan of yours since back in the day when I saw you fought Bodog.
Bodog. Snap.
Yeah, so you fought
Damn.
Eve Edwards on Bodog.
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
did.
Damn, this dude's fucking dangerous.
Yes, I did, man.
Yeah, you're still in the game, man. It's beautiful to see, you know? Crafty veterans.
Yeah, man. I attribute a lot to like God with the gifts that I was born, and also the training that I do. I never get too far away from the training. And another thing is that I've kept it like natural for the most part. I've seen a lot of guys come in 4 or 5 years. They do a little bit of the enhancements and cheating, and then tear this, break that. So these guys ain't around no more. I just feel like I couldn't afford it when I was coming up, any of that stuff. So I just never did it, you know. So I've always kept like my body more or less healthy. I've had injuries that are horrible, obviously, in combat sports, but I've always just been able to like heal through them. And it always one thing I've always believed in for the sport, for anybody listening, wanting to get into the sport and have longevity, is like, as long as you know that every day you could learn something new from whoever it may be, you'll always be going forward. You know, the moment you think you know it all, that's it, bro. You fucked up, you know. So I've always had that mentality since I was young, and I still have it to this day. You know, a white belt could teach me something, or like a setup or something, not necessarily maybe the greatest technique, but just a different way to do a technique, and I might be able to pull it off. So I've always stuck firm to that commitment, you know.
Yeah, for sure. That's very important to have that beginner's mentality. You know, what is the worst injury you've ever had?
Like pain-wise, eye poke for a back.
Yeah.
I shot like a high crotch, and the guy's elbow was like resting on his hip, and he just like locked out, and it went right into my thumb. His thumb went right into my eye, and I was throwing up immediately. Like 10 seconds after, I started throwing up, and I was doing like the Harlem Shake. I couldn't control my body. I was just shaking and throwing up. It was so much pain. After that, I had to wear an eye patch for about like 5 weeks because I had double vision. So I would like look at you and see like 2, 3 of you, and that would last it for like 5 weeks. So I was supposed to have surgery on it, and they scheduled me for surgery. I came back in, and the doctor's like, "Hey man, maybe you don't need surgery. You did amazing healing. Like swelling's gone down a little bit. You kind of don't need the surgery." So I was like, "Oh, let me not get the surgery." And I wore the eye patch for 5 weeks. That was the most painful injury of my life. The other ones have just been like long-lasting injuries. Like my hand is all fucking wrecked, you know. Back's pretty messed up, but I get through it, you know. Cold plunge, sauna, a lot of stretching, things like that. Like they're I could work through it, but the eye and the hand have been the worst, probably.
Did you break the hand?
No, but I've torn like numerous ligaments and tendons on the hand, you know. That's why my fingers look like they're throwing up gang signs, they're all crooked and stuff, you know. But yeah, that's been like one of the more lagging ones. And the knees and stuff, you know how the sport is.
Yeah.
Pulling on your joints, meniscus tear here, ACL there. But those I've been able to rehab and work through them. They suck like when I'm running or like on a cold day, but it's nothing that I can't work through. The hand is like, sometimes I got to just give it a pause, like a week. I can't throw my right hand. I just got to use my left and stuff like that.
I remember when you got a meniscus injury, and I was worried about that, but you just rehabbed it?
Just rehab, man. I don't really like surgery, you know, and I've talked to a lot of other athletes that did do like the meniscus repair, and then it tore again, and then they were out for like 6 months. I was like, nah, it's not going to be me. So I've always focused on like rehab, get whoever's the best rehab person around at that time that I could find for that particular injury, and just get to work. And if after some time I'm not seeing any gains, and maybe I'll try some other stuff. And there's so many advances in the medical field now, like the stem cell, that's helped me out tremendously with my knees, giving me a full range of motion to be able to like squat all the way down. I was having trouble like breaking parallel. Once I'd have a little bit of weight on my back, I just feel crazy tension on my knees. Since the stem cell, I got like a full range of motion back on my knees, you know.
That's beautiful.
The hand as well.
Where did you go to get the stem cells?
The UFC sent me up for my hand. I went to California, and it was freaking amazing. It was right after the Nate Diaz fight. Both my hands were jacked, and on one of the blows I hit Nate with, I hit him in the top of the head, and you can see it on the video. My hand folds. I just kind of had like shitty technique for that one punch, and I couldn't even wipe my ass. I swear to you, bro. The pain that I had, it was just, I couldn't bend it in like that. I did the stem cells. 3 weeks later, I was like, holy smokes, this is insane. And in my knees and hands, I did it in down in Colombia at Bio Accelerator. That was freaking a great time too.
That's the way to go. When you go to those other countries, whether it's Panama or Colombia, or they do it in Tijuana now too, it's like they can do shit that you can't do in America. Yeah. They just load you up.
You get the full spectrum over there.
Yeah, and you just fucking heals everything. It's incredible. And it's great for stuff that you don't even know is wrong. You know? It's great for just overall longevity and body healing.
I've heard they, I haven't done them because you know how you saw that is with us, but I've heard about the IV stem cells as well that are freaking great for you as well.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It sucks that, you know, the IV thing is an issue. But, you know, it's, I mean, you don't cut a ton of weight. I mean, you used to fight at 55.
Yeah,
and
55, I was a ton of weight, a ton of water weight because my body fat. I lived a different life. There was a very strict diet for like, I had to, once I turned like 25, 26, I had to have like proper notice, like 9 weeks notice to get myself in shape, to come in on fight week at like 174, to drop down to 156. And right around like 172, 173, I was 5% body fat already. So it was just straight water and it was fucking torturous. And then USADA, when I decided to move up, USADA came in the game and outlawed the IVs for us, right? So I was like, there's no way I can make 155, and that's when I made my move to 70.
But it's been phenomenal for you at 70. I think you're better at 70. I really believe because you're just stronger, healthier.
I didn't have the pop at 155 after I turned 26, 27, which usually a man loses his strength and power at the end of his career, you know? And it was like a month before the fight, I'd be hurting people in sparring. As I got nearer to the fight, I didn't have that electricity, that pop, pop, you know?
Right.
So I really started to like, man, fuck, you know, it's something I'm going to have to do, and it was in the back of my mind. But I would always work out with 70-pounders and like 45-pounders. At American Top Team, we had a lot of standouts at 155, so I would work out with them as well. But I was like, we might have to cross paths, so I didn't make it like my main staple to work out with those guys. So I knew that there was a strength level difference at me at 170, but I knew I could hurt those guys when I touch them, you know, every time. So I knew if I could work on my strength gains and get a little size, I'd be